When it comes to romance, everybody wants the same thing: to either be Ryan Gosling or to be with Ryan Gosling. Now, if you are neither of these things, then you're probably a sane human being, unlike myself. And within the bounds of sanity comes a realistic approach on life, a topic that I think La La Land covers very well despite dealing with the fantastical world of Hollywood, California. To waste no time at all, here is everything that makes La La Land feel like such a powerful story. To start, let's talk about the most obvious topic: love. Almost every human on Earth loves and wants to feel loved. It doesn't necessarily mean in a romantic sense either. People naturally like companionship. We usually aren't romantically involved with our friends, but we still love them and enjoy their company. We enjoy the company of our partners just the same, or sometimes more, but usually there's a bit more intimacy involved in that relationship. In La La Land, the core idea of companionship is instilled pretty early on into the film. We see Seb's sister telling him to go out with a sweet girl she knows, and Seb declines because he assumes she won't have the same values as him, and so on. He's interested in a partner, but clearly struggles with finding suitable ones. Something that I find very relatable in this day and age. He doesn't want to settle. He wants to be with somebody who he finds truly interesting. We're also told early on that Mia has a boyfriend, but is clearly open to searching for somebody a bit more at her level in terms of drive and passion, hence her introduction to Seb. Both of these characters are looking for somebody who can fully appreciate who they are and what they're doing with their life. They both want somebody to be invested in them, as they both avidly care to invest themselves into each other. I can't speak for everybody watching this video, but to anyone who has a hobby or passion or anything they actually care about, they'd likely want their partner to take an interest in what they're doing, because that's how our brains work. Somebody cares about something we like, and it makes us feel good about ourselves. That's positive stimuli. It's something most people want, not just to be loved, but for somebody to actually take an interest in their life. This type of love, this deep care and concern is infectious. As I watched this film, I couldn't help but think, as cliche as it is, that I want that type of love, because who wouldn't? This doesn't just apply to single people who watch the film either. I'm sure to someone in a relationship, this has a similar effect. Or maybe it makes that person think of how great their current significant other is, or vice versa. Regardless, humans love to love, and that's just the tip of the La La Land iceberg. What's underneath is the soundtrack, because who doesn't love good music? Whether you're an enjoyer of jazz or musicals or not, some of the tracks felt like they had crack in them. If something is catchy, then it's catchy, good or bad. This experience may not be shared, but at least half of the songs were stuck in my head after my first watch. The opener, Another Day of Sun, sets the tone by keeping things light, fun, and upbeat. The set is extremely colorful and full of life, and it makes you want to sing and dance. It's a feel-good scene, and who doesn't love feeling good? Most of the tracks are the same way, but with the bigger focus on romance, which takes us back to the first point. When you combine happy, fun, romantic gestures and set pieces with catchy music and pretty scenery, you're setting up a formula for good overall vibes. As we dive deeper into the film, the songs increasingly get more intimate. Mia and Sebastian's theme, which is absolutely beautiful and gut-wrenching at the same time, is simultaneously the opener to their relationship as well as the closer. It helps encapsulate their feelings and the relationship trajectory. When we hear it in the beginning, it's played in a restaurant, and the way in which the song fades out gives you a sense of loss, but Mia first finds it beautiful and sparks her to walk up to Seb. Then of course he brushes her off. But when we hear this song again for the final time, we understand that this great thing, this passion-filled romance, has to come to an end, in the same way it began, in search for something more. Ordinarily, soundtracks can really help enhance an overall vibe or feeling to a given story, but when they're integrated in this way, it sucks you in so much more. When you're not only hearing a song play over a scene, but rather one of the characters is playing said song as he looks back on what his relationship could have been with the woman that he loved so much, it hurts infinitely more. And I'd say each of the songs performed throughout the film, whether it's other favorites like City of Stars or A Lovely Night, they give off the same effect, but in a more positive and uplifting way, enhancing the romantic feel in a very personal and intimate fashion. The characters aren't just performing these songs, they're the embodiment of them. I find each track to be very charming, as are the characters, but it's some of the lyrics in the songs and the dialogue of the film that really helps capture this charm. It's all about the wit. Most traditional comedy films are a bit more raunchy and have a bit more LOL potential, whereas La La Land has its trademark sarcasm with chuckles meant to fill in the gaps instead. Wit isn't always meant to feel funny though, of course. In this case, I believe it is meant to help elevate the sophistication and maturity levels of our characters. Wit is all about mental sharpness and quick instincts, which can translate to humor if done correctly, which I believe this film does achieve from time to time. This sophistication and charm adds to the aforementioned topics, more specifically the romance part. As we all age, we look for mental, emotional, and physical maturity within a partner. sooner. Some of you may be 30 and have the EQ and IQ of a prepubescent boy, but you're the exception. The majority of people need to date somebody either close to their age or close to their intellectual capacity, because it's most appealing to us to be with somebody who's at our level so we can relate to them, or sometimes even above our level so we may have something to learn from them. The dialogue used in this film helps showcase this intelligent pair of people connecting and loving one another in a healthy and mature fashion. They're adults, and as much as some of us like to stay kids forever, this adult relationship is something everybody strives to have in the future. It feels stable until they have to split up, of course, and I'd like to give most of the credit to the dialogue. It's playful but not childish. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are just solid actors as well. They do their parts and they play them well. Damien Chazelle is great at getting you close to his characters, making them feel as relatable as possible. He wants you to root for this Hollywood couple just as much as you'd like to root for yourself in the same way. This whole movie is a projection onto our inner selves. Whether you have big dreams or small ones, we all want our fantasies to feel real. Now, despite the majority of this film taking place in Hollywood, there are many aspects of this story that are very realistic. There are exaggerations in the form of dance numbers, scenery, color palettes, and overall special effects because this was a film, therefore it is staged, but the pieces that feel real come from the characters and how they go about living their lives, along with the emotions they feel and the hardships they face along the way. At the beginning of the film, Mia and Seb both struggle. A lot. Just like me and you struggle, but likely with very different goals. This struggle doesn't stop though, even when both of these characters reach high points of success in their life, because being a human is much more complex than simply achieving your goals. I know La La Land doesn't touch on this very much outside of the very last scene, but it is extremely prevalent. We see Seb looking back on what his life could have been with Mia, and potentially vice versa, and in this exchange we see a clear bit of regret in both of their eyes and body language. I'd say Seb is the more disappointed of the two, but the reality of life is that we can't have everything we want. They both agree to sacrifice their relationship in order to achieve their goals, because that was more important in the end. And I still believe that they think they made the right choice with that as well, despite being so in love. It's clear to see that they both enjoy their end of film lives more than they loved each other, and their hesitant smiles at the very end help affirm this belief. Sacrifices have to be made, and sometimes they come with regret, but that's the reality of life. This film tends to put very negative situations in a very positive light. As we see Mia and Seb struggle throughout the film and eventually lose each other to their respective careers, we're not sad the entire time we watch. Well, maybe in the end. But as we see rejection after rejection for Mia and missed opportunity after missed opportunity for Seb, we're still encapsulated with hope. Again, this is a projection of ourselves. We want so badly for these characters to succeed, and we want the absolute best for them. So as it is difficult to watch them fail, we know that they're learning from their mistakes and making changes in order to push forward. We can't help but root for them, and the pretty colors and flashy set pieces really help us keep our hopeful thoughts as well. If the tone were anything but what it actually was, we'd all likely feel very depressed with the bulk of the film as well as the outcome. The reality of chasing after something is that it may take years to achieve, and you may have to give up a lot of things or people you truly care about, but you can reach those goals. Nothing is impossible. Yes, it's time to address the elephant in the essay. I think the most important aspect of this film and what makes it so lovable to most people is the foolish dream chasing. I mentioned earlier that everybody has a goal in life, whether big or small. One person's life goal can simply be to achieve consistent happiness. Another is to live in the woods with nobody to bother them, and somebody else's goal can be to become a billionaire. These are all dreams, and I think the majority of individuals who hear the word dream job think of the most unrealistic yet most fun career they can conjure up, when in reality a dream job can be anything that makes you happy, no matter the pay, no matter the stature. I don't necessarily know what I want to do with my life, and that's scary. I'm someone who loves to have all the answers at his fingertips. I just got my bachelor's degree in film, and I plan to move to California to see what I can do with that. And I still have a few more months before that happens, but I also just met a girl, someone who I think I actually like a bit. It makes me feel like I'm in La La Land as well, waiting to move away but knowing I have somebody here potentially for me. And I don't know what I want. I don't want to stay in Michigan, I want more for myself. But I don't know exactly what, and I don't want to get rid of this new person either. I also had a full-time content creation job that I had to take a backseat on because it felt overwhelming. Do I want to make films? Do I want to make content? Do I want somebody to love? I do not know. But I do know that I have many choices to make in the near future. But what I'm trying to get at is, you're not alone. These characters in this movie, they all have their shit together. And that's why we love it so much. Because they have the confidence to chase their dreams despite not having a clear path to success. Hell, they know exactly what they want, so they go for it. I can't say the same about myself, and I'm sure some of you feel the same. Probably not all of you, and I envy that. But if you have something tangible and real to chase after, then go for it. It'd be a waste not to, because someone like myself would give up anything to know exactly what I want to do so I can put myself on that right path. I talk about how much this film is hopeful and exciting, but in reality, it hurts a bit. It felt like a wake-up call to myself, and every time I watch it, I'm reminded that I have more work to do, and I have so much more to achieve. And although that can feel heavy on your mental, I hope it has the same effect on all of you, because sometimes we do need a kick in the butt to get ourselves going. Life is not easy, and we absolutely see that within La La Land, even if all the singing and dancing does look fun. It was a struggle, as I mentioned earlier, and so is everyone else's life. We all struggle in our own ways, and we all have our own dreams. I think if you love this film, then you love yourself, or at least you'd like to. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone make it look so easy to fall in love and work the job you've always wanted. But don't think for a second that's what this film is trying to tell you. I think Damien Chazelle is saying no matter how difficult or how long it takes, or no matter who you lose along the way, the best thing you can do for yourself is try. Because it couldn't possibly happen if you don't go for it. If there's something you want more than anything, then it's yours. You just have to put in the time and effort. Every single day, every single hour if you have to, but it is possible. If another human can do it, then so can you. And you're lying to yourself if you say otherwise. But you don't have to put all that pressure on yourself all at once either. You have your whole life to get to that point, right? Learn to love the process. And if you need some motivation along the way, then go back and watch La La Land again, or this video, whichever helps you more.